I have here the OPPO Find X9 Ultra Hasselblad Explorer kit. It's the teleconverter kit or the photography kit that you can get for the Find X9 Ultra. So I'll run through what it does contain, give you a little bit of sample footage and my thoughts on this, which is adding 300mm zoom to the Find X9 Ultra. All right, so here's what we get with the kit. Well, part of it, there's a couple of lens adapters that are just off camera and just a user guide, but I won't show you that. So the case, very nice. It is lightweight. It doesn't seem to add too much weight, but yes, it will add a bit of bulk. Now, this does stick out a little to give you more grip, like a bit of a camera grip there. And you see Type-C port here for charging the internal battery. It doesn't connect up with Type-C, so we still have the original Type-C port free for fast transfers. Kind of agree with that move. It is Bluetooth, but I've noticed that the latency on this is very good. There doesn't seem to be any lag when I take photos with the Bluetooth, which I was a bit worried about. There might be a slight delay, and I'm not really noticing that, which is good. Hasselblad branding, the OPPO right there. This is the two-stage camera button. Press down on this to power this on. You need to pair it up with Bluetooth with the phone. And then you've got your zoom controls there, so nice and easy. There is some protection here for the buttons. We've got a couple of loopholes there for a shoulder strap if you wanted to put one of those on. And the inside here, this is just plastic, so it doesn't have a felt material. The quality of it is very good. I would have liked a bit of felt here, but because they're trying to keep it nice and thin, that's probably why they haven't done that. So when it clips in, the phone, you just do it on one corner, I find is the best, and it should be the corner where the most buttons are, and that is on the right-hand side. And then you press it down, it clips into place. Once you do that, I think it looks really good now, and it looks, well, like a camera, right? A Hasselblad camera, more than it would a phone. If someone just quickly saw this, they'd think it was maybe some sort of camera system, which of course it is really. So once it's on there, it feels really, really solid. I mean, this build quality is great, and it's going to offer a decent amount of protection, keeping all the microphones, of course, all uncovered as what you want there. Now we have then the 300mm, which is quite large. I mean, look at this. This thing is huge. If my camera focuses on it, there we go. And we have the same continued design element. So we've got that orange ring here, OPPO branding, you see the Hasselblad, and then the Lumo 300. So we know it's 300mm focal length equivalent. And the caps, I had a complaint with these with the Find X9 Pro. I found them to be a little bit loose and I ended up losing them. These ones, I can thankfully say, are a bit tighter now. They're quite tight, and that should not come off. It doesn't rattle, doesn't feel like it's going to come off or go anywhere. Can't hear any rattling either. And we have a lens cap style that is like the Hasselblad cameras, which all makes sense with the partnership. So you press in like that, and it just lifts off, and then you can see the lens there. And it's telling us it's f2.2, the aperture, and the 300mm Hasselblad branding. Now, we have a support for it, which is very good, with the thread on the bottom. So that means that you'll be able to get this as stable as possible. Very important when you're at such focal lengths. You really do need to have stabilization and a tripod advisable to get the absolute best results, of course, but it's not always possible. Comes with a hood, so like your mirrorless cameras, lenses, you need to line up the colors here. So putting this on, you just need to line up there the orange dots and then give it a turn, and it is now on. So we've got that hood, which is great. You can also reverse it around as you would a hood with your lenses. I've got some Sigma lenses, and they follow pretty much all of them. This same concept there too as well. Then we have the adapter ring. So before I put that on, I'll show you that we do have some other adapters here. So there's this that you can put on the outside. This is for nothing really. It's just to change the aesthetic of it and give the lenses a little bit of protection. It's made out of alloy, so this will easily dent if you drop it. And you can easily clip that on. And we do have this one for 67mm adapters that you can also put onto the phone. Clip that, and when you turn it around, you're going to have that at the bottom, and you can have then a ND filter, which is really good if you need one of those. So 67mm is the circumference, the ones that you want to get for it. And there is a third point. Again, that's going to be really good for some stability there. Now, to remove the rings or the adapter, you press on the button here and you just give it a turn, lift it off, comes off pretty easy there. So this one is not so easy to put on because you've got your little dots to line them up, right? But I see on this, there is a yellow orange dot, but where do you line it up? Because on the case, there's no, what I can see, or is it down the bottom there? No, that's just a little bit of dirt. So there's no dot, but it's just straight up. You need to line that, and then you give it a twist, and you can see now it is then clipping into place. Good thing is it's not blocking the other cameras, so you can easily just take off the huge 300mm teleconverter, teleextender, take that off, and then you've got access to all of those cameras there. So you can see ultra wide, not covered, sensors not covered. So when you're in the camera, you're going to notice straight away that, oh, hang on, what's going on? We have the lens in the way, and that's because, oh, wow, it's sticking out. So the ultra wide and the main camera is not going to work because it's going to be there. So you need to go into the more options, which I'll scroll to now, and you'd click then on the teleconverter. And doing so, tell it is installed. Here we go. We've gone over to the teleconverter now, and you can see it's got its own little menu here, and we've got 13 times 30 and 60 presets. There's an option here for stage, so stage mode, and you have your filters there on the right, the bottom right, and clicking up at the top, you have auto HDR, aspect ratio, timer, and that is really it. Then we have the video mode here for the teleconverter, okay? And I'll test out that now and show you some sample footage. Okay, so the 13 times preset is what we have. That's our optical zoom. So going over that, you're starting to use quite a bit of digital. Now we've got 4K 30, 4K 60, no 120 frames per second. We don't have a portrait mode, portrait video, no 8K. So there are some limitations here. Now I'm just going to find, there we go, the cross. We'll go to the 30 preset. It's 30 times zoom. Stability seems to be all right. I'm doing this handheld, but yeah, you probably want to use a tripod. So if you're someone that loves to plane spot and film that, I don't know about this quality at 30 times. That's looking very grainy to me. 60 preset, that's adding a huge amount of digital zoom, even though it's a 200 megapixel sensor with that 3 times optical zoom camera. It looks quite digital. That's the 13, which does look a little bit better. So I'm just going to move down, and I'll see if I can focus on something a little bit closer. So this palm tree here, not too bad. And I can apply, let's go to tap here and go to 20 times zoom. That's 20 times now. You can see the focus at times is struggling. 20 times zoom there, 30, and let's go back to 13. So 13 is probably the maximum where I would be filming using this. Looking at the samples, yes, we get extended zoom and the quality very good, 300 millimeters. Now it's 690 millimeters, which is the 30 times preset, and then the 60 times preset looking a bit blurry and all digital, a bit of a mess. I would never use that. And I went right up to 200 times zoom, and not usable, but you can still do it. And this is from my perspective how far away I was. So taking photos of other things like subjects here, like my cat Vera, good, but I had to stand about 2 meters back. And this cactus here, this is the 13 times, went to the 30 times, and the quality has definitely dropped right off. And then taking it to 60, yeah, I would not personally be using that. Okay, so it's clear to me that this is not going to be for everyone, right? It adds bulk. And this is something I'm trying to avoid now, is a mirrorless camera and its lenses. And this kind of reminds me of that hassle, having to set up a lens, put it on, take off the lens caps. Then you've got this bulk. When you're using it, if you want to quickly switch to the ultra wide or the main camera, you have to press the little button here and then go along and remove it, which only takes, as you saw, like 3 seconds. Not too much of an issue, right? And then you've got everything with this nice kit, and then you can go along and put it back in, which hopefully I can do now. Just line that up. There we go, clicked into place. So not too bad. So it's not for everyone. You have to be someone like a plane spotter. Maybe you do bird photography, take a lot of photos where you need the zoom. You need the 300 millimeter teleconverter right here, or you're going to be shooting a lot of scenery, or you travel a lot and you want to get distance shots in the distance. Well, I'm happy with what the OPPO already has, the Find X9 Ultra built into it, 10 times optical zoom. But if you need to go that further step, then you've got this. So I have noticed that from the quality going over about 20 times zoom, it's really grading the quality and not so great. The other thing is the minimal focus distance on this seems to be something like 1.8 meters. I'm not joking, because I tried to zoom into my cat Vera and I had to walk across the other side of the room in order to get it to focus, and it was still telling me to step back because I was a little bit too close. So bear that in mind, that you're not going to be able to get up close and use this kind of zoom to get really detailed magnified shots. No, it's more for scenery, bird spotting, plane spotting, stuff like that. So there we go. That was just a very quick look. I hope this video was helpful so you know what the kit is about and what kind of quality to expect. Myself, personally, I don't think I will really be using this that much.